Good morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting an update from Labrador Gold, which trades on the Toronto Venture Stock Exchange under the symbol LAB. Joining me is Lab's president and CEO, Roger Moss. Roger, Happy New Year and welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Megan. Happy New Year to you too, and it's great to be back in New Year and lots of fun stuff to come down the chute, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Because earlier today, Labrador Gold announced an impressive intersection from the company's big vein target at Kingsway Project. But before we discuss that, could you provide our listeners with an overview of your flagship Kingsway Project, where you currently have an ongoing 100,000-meter drill program?
Yeah, sure. That's correct. 100,000 meters going on, and we've been working there for about two and a half years now. This is obviously our corporate disclaimer. Just there are going to be forward-looking statements that I'll be talking about during this presentation. But yeah, the Kingsway project is shown here in blue, and the one thing that you see right away is that it's almost completely surrounded by this yellow area that's Newfoundland Gold's licenses. And so one of the reasons that we actually got Kingsway in the first place was Newfoundland Gold's incredible discovery that they announced in the beginning of 2020, that 93 grams a ton over 19 meters. And as soon as that happened, like, I realized that this is significant. I did a little bit more digging and noticed that this Appleton fault zone, which is shown here in the dashed black line, was very closely associated with that intersection and other occurrences in that area. And so that was our primary focus in acquiring this Kingsway property. Now, in addition to being next to Newfoundland Gold's discovery and subsequent discoveries that they've made over the last 2.5 years, this is situated in Newfoundland. It's very close to Gander, which is one of the major towns in Newfoundland. So there's good road access, there's lots of water, there's electricity, nearby towns. So the infrastructure really couldn't be much better. And we have road access pretty much year round, except for a little bit of wet spots during the breakup. But yeah, we can work year round, and we're drilling there currently. So it's really a great place to be. And you know, just a quick summary of what we've achieved over those 2.5 years. We've really been very fortunate, I think, based on the discoveries that we've made. I mean, we've had four discoveries in the space of that 2 years. Big Vein is definitely the biggest one, and we continue to work there. We're very happy with the way that Big Vein is shaping up. But we can't also discount Pristine and Midway, and even Golden Glove, where we've had some not great results, but we're still trying to understand what's happening down at Golden Glove. So all in all, there seems to be a lot of gold along this Appleton fault zone, both on our ground at Kingsway and Newfoundland Gold's ground to the south. And I think there's going to be a lot more to come from this area in the next few years.
And as mentioned, the company has had more results from your Kingsway project. Could you run us through these results for our audience?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we put out a news release this morning, and that was basically the highlights of the drilling that we've had back recently. And I think the one intersection that was really good to see was this 20.8 grams over 5 meters, which included a much higher grade interval of 124 grams over just under a meter. And that's one of the better intersections that we've seen at Big Vein. Certainly in terms of the assay and the length of the intersection. We've had quite a few of these higher grade intersections like the 124 grams a ton and higher, but they've typically been over narrow intervals. So I think seeing this kind of interval and those grades was a really nice thing to see. Also in the news release, I pointed out that we're almost 2/3 of the way through that 100,000 meter drill program. And we still have quite a few assays in the lab or samples in the lab for which we're waiting for assays from about 2,700 meters of core. So we're looking forward to seeing those come back as well. And this is going back now over some of the better intersections that we've seen from Big Vein over the last almost 2 years. We started drilling there in April of 2021. So you can see here this one highlighted here, the result from our news release this morning. It stacks up pretty well with some of the other high grade and decent intervals that we've seen from Big Vein in the past. So although we do have these other discoveries that we made, Big Vein seems to be the one that keeps on delivering and especially delivering these high grades. You can see here, this is a plan map, so we're looking down on top of Big Vein, and these are the veins projected to surface, and you can see that there's a big cluster of high grade. These would be greater than 3 grams a ton and over 10 grams a ton in the pink, and also down here in the southwest. So things are looking pretty good at Big Vein.
So we're starting to see a bit of a trend here where the company is continuing to report mineralization in the north and south areas of the Big Vein target. You have a strike length of about 500 meters at this target, and it seems to be growing. Is there any indication on the limits of this target for the company?
That's really hard to say. I mean, we are still stepping out and we're still finding mineralization in both directions. Down in the southwest, you can see in the bottom here in the southwest, we have a nice zone developing. That's still open. It's still open down to the southwest. So that's something that we're following up on. And then of course up here in the north, we have the area around where we really started drilling, and where this most recent assay came from. So the assay that we reported today comes up from this northern area, and again, this remains open to the northeast, and we have drills operating there right now on both sides of Big Vein in an effort to continue stepping this mineralization out to the northeast and the southwest.
And you had a successful 2022 where the company made a number of discoveries throughout this 12-kilometer stretch of the Appleton Fault. What can we expect from the company for 2023?
Well, I think I'm very optimistic for this year. I think we have been doing a lot of work over these last two and a half years. We've come up with a lot of targets, and you can see some of them here on this map. These are mostly geochemical targets, either from soil samples or till samples or rock samples, and these targets are in the process of being upgraded to drillable targets. And you can see right away that we have quite a cluster here to the southwest of Big Vein, and that's something that we'll be looking at in a lot more detail. The other thing to notice about this target map, if you like, is that there's a dearth of information between Big Vein and Golden Glove, and that is probably about a 3-kilometer strike length. And part of the reason for that is that it's covered with overburden, so we don't see any rock. We don't see any rock outcrop. The overburden tends to be a little deeper, and so the soil sampling, for example, doesn't pick up the signatures as well as it would with shallower overburden. So that's a bit of a challenge. But one of the things that, there's many things that are going on in the background that we don't report in news releases, because it's just things that help us to target more efficiently. Some of these things are like a structural study that we have going on right now. That structural study is focused on Big Vein, Pristine, and Midway. We're looking at the controls of mineralization there, and that study will help us tweak the targeting of all three of those occurrences. So that's one thing that's going on. The other thing is we're just waiting on results of an airborne geophysical survey over the property. I think that is going to really help us look at areas like the gap between Big Vein and Golden Glove, and even the gap between Big Vein and Pristine. That's only 700 meters right now. And as you mentioned, Big Vein itself strikes over 500 meters. So what's going on between Big Vein and Pristine? We don't really have a clear idea, but that's something that we're going to be targeting this year at some point, and to see what's actually in that gap. Similarly, going off the Appleton Fault over towards Midway and Cracker, both of those occurrences are very similar in the mineralization style. So is there gold mineralization between those two occurrences, which is on the order of about 1.5 kilometers? And to answer that, we've done some IP surveys recently, and the results from that look good. So again, all of this information is feeding into our ongoing targeting to see if we can add either more discrete gold occurrences or extend the occurrences that we have. And one of my main goals for 2023 is to drill the gap between Big Vein and Pristine, because if we can find mineralization in there and perhaps even connect the two, that'll be huge.
Now, before I wrap things up, Roger, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I think, this is just sort of the takeaways that we have here, and when you're talking about all this work that you're going to be doing, people always ask, well, how much money do you have? And I'm happy to report that we have $18 million in cash. We don't have any debt. So all of our remaining drilling is completely funded with that and more. So all the targeting work, the drilling, all of that is funded through this year and well into next. And I think obviously our shareholders are the people that we rely on, and they've been very supportive. And the biggest ones, Eric Sprott is a major shareholder. Newfound Gold is a major shareholder, as is Palisades Gold Corp and Crescat Capital. And I think all of these shareholders, it's great to have such a good shareholder base with people like this that are that know what these exploration plays are about, and how much it takes to just get to the point where you actually make a major discovery. So yeah, thanks to all the shareholders, and let's look forward to a great 2023.
Absolutely. And we want to thank you as well, Roger, for taking the time to chat with me this morning. And we're very much looking forward to the next results to come from the pending assays and continued drilling at Big Vein.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Megan.